Let's go next to a team that not enough people are talking about, and that's the Florida Gators. Now, you're going to look, and so much of the conversation surrounding Florida is about the schedule. The schedule. What people are not talking enough about is how good they might be along both the offensive and defensive lines. Okay, that's a great starting point in this league. The offensive line returns depth, they return talent, and they return an identity. It's going to be a team that runs the football. They might hand the ball off to Jaden Baugh 25, 30 times in the game. Their running back at 230 pounds is going into his second year. They can also spell him. They got great depth at running back. This is going to be a team that is a ground and pound outfit, which is going to allow the talent of DJ Lagway to come to the forefront. Their quarterback's phenomenal. He's especially good on the downfield throws. And if they run the ball the way I anticipate them running the football, that's going to help their defense tremendously. And it's going to force a lot of teams to be very cognizant when it comes to stopping the run. You know what's good for a quarterback when teams are thinking about the run game? Boom, heavy play action, throw it over the top, strike up the fight song for the Florida Gators. I think this has a chance to be a very potent offensive attack. Now, they do have to replace some key pieces at wide receiver. They did go out, I think, made some great adjustments and went out and got some really quality pieces at the wide receiver spot. J. Michael Sturdivant comes over. They think they have some young guys they're very, very excited about at wide receiver. So I think wide receiver is not really a position group that I'm super concerned about. There is maybe a little bit of a concern in the secondary, but this defensive line, headlined by Caleb Banks, they have a chance to really be impactful with their pass rush. If you have a great defensive tackle that can take over games, it's a pretty good starting point, and Caleb Banks can absolutely be that. Now let's address the elephant in the room, right? The elephant in the room is the schedule. That's the ticket. Doesn't matter how good you feel about Florida, how many teams can navigate this schedule and avoid the obvious potholes. You got at Miami in the non-conference. You also play against Florida State. Those are two teams that I think both have a chance to be pretty dang good here in 2025. The SEC road games are a beast. You're at LSU, you're at A&M, Kentucky, and that game's a little bit later in the year. Could be cold, could be challenging. You know that's kind of Kentucky's Super Bowl and has been for the last few years. You're also at Ole Miss, a team that's probably trying to exact revenge after Florida kicked them out of the playoffs last year. And then at home, you get Texas, brutal. You get Tennessee, brutal. And then you have that neutral site game against Georgia there in Jacksonville every single year. The schedule is an absolute beast. But if they can run the ball the way I anticipate them being able to run the ball, and the offensive line is as good as advertised, and the defensive line is as good as advertised, and Lagway takes the steps that we expect him to take at quarterback, Florida's going to be a problem. I really believe that. Now, the schedule will be a beast, but can they cause some serious headaches for a lot of teams in what might become a bare-knuckle brawl every single time you play them? Yes. The answer is a resounding yes. And if you can win the physical battle in the SEC, you're always going to have a chance. So I am a little higher on Florida than some other people might be.